the UNRWA, or the UN Relief Workers Agency, is back in the news.
You mean the UN?
The UNRWA, United Nations Relief Workers Association, is back in the news. So Israel raids.
Wait. Were these the ones that got caught having children do acts of a sexual nature for food? Was it those UN people? Was it the UN that got caught trafficking children?
Well, all I can tell you about UNRWA, that I don't recall, but it's certainly possible based on the following. They've already documented that UNRWA participated in the October 7th slaughter of Israelis, right? They have also now determined that UNRWA, United Nations Relief Workers Agency, educating the Palestinians, right, to basically, kill the Jews and drive them into the sea. But here's the real, takes the cake. They just discovered in a raid in northern Gaza that the command center, or the computer center for Hamas, was located directly below the UN Relief Workers Agency headquarters, and the electricity comes from UN Relief Workers Association directly down into this massive computer complex that is Hamas, right? So what does the head of the UN Relief Workers Agency have to say for himself? And this gentleman, let's get this right, is I'll get the name in here somewhere. UN Commissioner Philippe Lazzarini. He's an Italian. He should be ashamed of himself. UNRWA staff left its headquarters in Gaza City on October 12th following the Israeli evacuation orders and as the bombardment intensified in the area. We have not used the compound since. What does that, is that total BS? It's not like this was just there since October 7th. This has been there for years with U.S. tax dollars. And basically, the intelligence documents discovered, confirm that the offices have been used by Hamas terrorists. And then you have President Joe Biden, who says that Israel's response to the of its citizens and the massacre on October 7th is, quote unquote, over the top. I don't know what over the top is, but if you come after me or mine, all bets are off. So,
that's the thing. Yeah. They're at war. They're at war, and Israel is waiting for its hostages to be returned.
What hostages? There are no hostages.
Oh.
There's no hostages in the news. There's no U.S. hostages there.
Whoopsie. My bad. I forgot.
No. Do you see anything in the press about it?
Oh my God. No, that's the thing. It's like, it's not just Israeli citizens. There are American citizens.
But you wouldn't know this from our government.
No.
Right? Look, 2 Israeli hostages were freed in a very daring raid by the IDF. My hat's off to them. Hearts out to the family who got at least, their loved ones back. But the Biden administration is also, by the way, sanctioning Israelis for being too violent. I think it's in the West Bank, not in Gaza. They are putting pressure on the Israeli government, and they've given them 45 days to file a human rights report. And all they care about is a ceasefire. And they're trying to say, you get a ceasefire, you get the hostages back. But no one wants to talk of the facts. The facts are that the UN is a terrorist organization, and they're aiding and abetting and participating in the slaughter of Israelis. And yet, how do you make peace with someone? Forget about the ceasefire. How do you make peace with someone whose avowed intent is your absolute destruction? Oh, I know you want to kill us, but let's make peace.
Oh, yeah. Even from the river to the sea was even used by this UNRWA. So, again, NATO and the UN, I understand, obviously, are different and they have different purposes. But
NATO's not a terrorist organization. The UN is.
Right. It literally is.
Not everyone in the UN, folks. Not the entire.
Not everybody. Not all the time.
I think the UN is useless. because of how it's structured. I think we pay too much for it. There's a whole lot of criticism I can give you of the United Nations, and it has veered so far from its original intent and purpose.
I think, isn't China like on the Human Rights Council or some stupid nonsense?
So is Venezuela.
And they have freaking slaves. They have concentration camps.
No.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, literally,
China?
they got busted. UN workers got busted trafficking
China
children,
is an upstanding
trafficking
citizen
people,
in the world.
do like assault, essaying children. And you guys, we're trying to be careful because we're learning all the words you can't say on social media.
I'm going to say
so that you get
I don't care.
banned or freaking throttled or whatever. But like,
I don't care.
The UN sucks. The UN sucks and absolutely should be disbanded. We should not give them any more money.
Ericka,
period.
Don't hold back. Tell me what you really think.
I hate these organizations. You know what? They all existed. I believe that many of these things started with a benevolent reason, or with like an altruistic purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like we want to help people and it's going to be a thing. But invariably, these kinds of organizations get infiltrated by people who want to hurt people. They are predators, and they use the system to victimize people.
They don't want to hurt people. They infiltrate a system to sort of corrupt its intent and to protect their own interests. Why else? That's why someone like China is on the Human Rights Commission, which I think they are. And by the way, someone should look that up on me because I don't know if they really are, but I believe you're correct. But I can tell you the Human Rights Commission, the UN Human Rights Commission is. The members are several of the worst violators of human rights in the world. Why do they do that, right? But I want to jump because I'll tell you one person in particular, and it's rare that I admit that I was wrong. What's the expression? I thought I was wrong once, but then I realized I was mistaken. But so I have to. My hat's off to Senator Fetterman.
Oh, yeah.
John Fetterman has come out and, with no BS. And look, when he was elected, I looked at the people, and I have friends in Pennsylvania going, how the hell do you elect, someone like that? And he's post-stroke, right? Forget about sort of the attire that, they allow him to wear, but maybe that's a Pennsylvania thing. I don't know. I can see all the hate mail from Pennsylvania now. But so Fetterman calls out Hamas and says the following. He goes, I don't understand why to anyone that is protesting or demanding for a ceasefire, let's be honest here. Why aren't you protesting to bring all the hostages home right now? Why aren't you demanding the Hamas surrender? Right? Because I support a solution as well, but that's meaningless until Hamas is effectively eliminated. Hamas now disavows and rejects the two-state solution too, and now they are committed to the destruction of Israel. I would never negotiate with a group that is committed to my death as well. Ding, 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 ding. Give that man a cigar. If he smokes one, I'll send him one. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand. It is very simple. It is very, very simple. Unless you just fell off the turnip truck yesterday and know nothing about history ever of all time.
Well, but at the end of the day, you
would have had to have just. Yeah, I can't even like.
How does the UN deny responsibility when? And I'm not talking like an electrical cord that's plugged into an outlet. If you look on social media, and I should have prepared. We can put up a picture. There is a massive pipe that taps into the main power source in United Nations Relief Workers Agency, and goes underground into this massive bunker and command center for their computers.
Wow! So you guess. You can't miss it.
They brought in the electricians when the people were out to lunch one day, and they just figured this thing on the wall, that went down under the ground was just, some sort of, maybe, it was their new cable TV or something. I don't know.
Here, I'm going to try. Like,
you got a picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's bring it up. Come on. That's not the picture.
Wait. Those
are the underground bunker. Those are the underground bunkers. But this is a computer command center located right underneath. That's not in either. It
says it in the that's right. What it is. But
folks can look it up online. I mean, it's there. And I defy anybody. You look at it. So you have UNRWA workers who were involved in the killing of Israelis, you now find that their headquarters has a main electrical pipeline from their grid or box, right? Their circuit, right? Circuit box panel,
Yeah.
down the ground that was powering the entire thing. And it's massive, right? So you sit there and go, what are you going to believe? What I tell you or what you see with your own eyes.
It's all a lie. It's just propaganda.
Right. By the way, so Lord Benjamin says Bolivia, China, Ivory Coast, Cuba, France, Gabon, Mexico, Nepal, Pakistan, Russia. These are all on the human rights. Ukraine, Uzbekistan. So let's see. Pakistan, human rights violator. China, human rights violator.
Benjamin,
Cuba, human rights violator. Russia, human rights violator.
Yeah. Oh wait, Benjamin sent us the right
Did
picture.
you get the picture? Bring it up.
Said it's this.
That's not it. That's cute. Cute picture.
You guys, it's an old picture from Mario Brothers. For those of you on the podcast or on the radio listening, it's a Mario Brothers pipe. Benjamin's being a silly goose.
All right. So I want to, as we end this, where we started, Joe Biden is not being prosecuted for classified, and I mean, where's my pictures here? I think if I can hold this one. He's not being prosecuted for classified documents that are left in his garage. And when we say classified documents, folks, let's see if I can quickly put my hands on all of this. So I don't know if you guys can all see this, but that's a picture of the documents in his garage. They were in his garage. They were in his car. And he said at the time, well, don't worry. The Corvette was in the garage and the garage was locked.
So it's
that picture. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it still begs the question, if you are not mentally competent to stand trial for a willful act, which is what the guy says in this report, right? If you're not willful, you can't be brought to trial. How are you mentally qualified to be the president?
You can't have both at the same time. You cannot. Right. You cannot.
So, I mean, let's see. And Biden's response, and you got to go to the quotes, right? So he gets up in front of the camera, right? And when old people who have dementia are getting angry or being called out on their dementia, they get angry, which is exactly what he did. That was, by the way, when he referred to El Sisi as the president of Mexico and claimed that he had conversations with Francois Mitterrand, who died in 96, and Helmut Kohl, who died, 6 years ago, right? Yeah. This is our president, folks. So he says, I'm well-meaning and I'm an elderly man and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on track. I don't need his recommendation. My memory is fine. And all I can tell you, and you'll forgive me, Ericka, but the two words I know that don't mean what they say is when someone says, like you did earlier, whatever, or someone says, fine, how you doing? Fine. They're not.
That
right?
never fine. Means fine.
Right. Especially if it's like between the sexes. Right.
Yeah.
My wife says, how you doing? Fine. Oops.
Fine used to be an acronym for effed up, really? Insecure, neurotic, and what's the other one? Something else bad that starts with an E.
You're
right. It's not good. It never means you're good.
How do you look? I am ABB. I'm anybody but Biden, right? I should be ABBK, right? Anybody but Biden or Kamala, but anybody but ABBKN, anybody but Biden, Kamala, and Newsom. But
Newsom,
in any event, right? How do you bring Trump up on these charges? And by the way, folks, I support President Trump, but if Chris Christie's the nominee, he gets my vote. If Nikki Haley's the nominee, she gets my vote. Okay, doesn't matter to me, right? Because at least we're going to move the country in a direction back to sort of the founding principles, at least a little bit, right? And remember, people are looking at Trump. Ronald Reagan was considered to be a cowboy, and he was going to blow up the world, and he was this extremist right-wing reactionary that was going to get us into war. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Did Trump get us into any wars?
He did not.
Did Obama? He did.
He did. He bombed a lot of people.
Right. And did Biden? He did. So, you got to just dig into this. But so to bring Trump for Trump to be charged on these classified documents. Now, look, if he tampered with evidence, if he tried to cover up or destroy evidence or witness tampering, it's like Nixon. I am not a crook, but it was the cover up instead of the crime. Right. Different issue. But this is the same charges. So how do you get off not charging? Now, first of all, as the president, you probably can't charge him while he's sitting in office. But how do you get off not charging him? And here you've got the senile, and he's the senile in chief.
Yeah, it literally is coming back around. It's because it's rules for thee and not for me. Right. It is mercy for me, justice for you. And that's what we see Democrats doing across the country, across the board.
Hypocrite.
It does. Hypocrite. Yeah. Tiffany Henyard. Oh, you shouldn't be attacking me. What? You're black and I'm black. Nah, bro. Like, y'all suck. Period.
You know what the issue is? There's two issues. We've gotten away from meritocracy. I don't know about you, but if I'm going under the knife for surgery, I don't want someone who's in affirmative action. I want the best surgeon I can get. I don't give a damn about your skin color. I give a damn about your capabilities. And we've gotten away from, there are no consequences. Those kids that attacked the cops in New York City, illegal immigrants, back on the street, there are no consequences. And until we get back to the standards of we want the best for our family, for our country, for our community. I mean, hell, what I've never understood within the black community is they accept substandard education for their kids and aren't in an uproar. In minority inner city communities, not across. I mean, I realize that's a broad brush that I'm painting with, but I don't know about you. I want the best for my family. I want the best for my children. I want the best for my community. I don't want the guy that, I graduated last in my class, but I got a diploma. But, oh, by the way, where's your kidney?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So I would love to see the country return to some sanity this year. Get out and vote. Vote for people who actually care about you, who are gonna get the government out of your pockets rather than into it, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are not going to let Donald Trump be president again. We're going to end on that note. How's that for controversial? We'll talk about that one next week. You got to stay tuned.
I love it, you guys. Make sure if you've watched this video for this long, go ahead and give it a like. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. If you're listening on podcasts, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget,
we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Podbeam, we're on, what am I missing?
We're on the radio Thursdays at 9 a.m.
WNTK.
Eastern.
Of the people, for the people, by the people.
Amen, y'all.
Shall not perish from this earth while you and I are still around fighting back.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us.